weak shall be strong, and none shall be afraid.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Dublin Christmas Concert 2021. My name's Bruce Dixon. I'm the minister here at Dublin, and it is my privilege to welcome you at home to this special concert. We have a few folks who are here to support their family, so if you see a few folks added, but we have handbells this afternoon. We've got the chancel choir. We've got some special guests who are helping with everything from drums to trumpets to bass, and so there's a whole bunch of wonderful things happening today. We have a storyteller who's going to tell us some tales, and so we welcome you to this special service of, I guess not really a service, it's a celebration, a time to be, to share music, to be mindful of this season. So thank you for joining us at home. And a really big shout out goes to our music director, Irene Gregorio. She's pulled this all together, and we've changed it many times in the last couple of weeks. So thanks to her flexibility, we were able to make this and have this come together today. We wanted just to acknowledge that as we have gathered here today, we stand in the footsteps and in the history of folks who were on this land and in this space before. And so we would acknowledge this today. At Dublin Street United Church, we meet and worship on the ancestral lands of the Adirondran, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee peoples. The land was the center of their lives and spirituality. And we are grateful for their steadfast land stewardship. We acknowledge that this land is covered by treaties, Treaty 3 of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, the 2 Row Wampum Treaty, and the Dish with One Spoon Treaty. We commit to respectful relationships and true reconciliation with our First Nation, Inuit, and Métis neighbors, and with the land. We pledge to educate ourselves on historical and current injustices towards Indigenous people, and to commit ourselves to stand as allies. I invite you to enjoy this concert today. It is a privilege to put it on for you, and we hope you enjoy and find a sense of the Spirit as we do so today. Welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so pleased to be able to perform with Chris Moyer, our wonderful handbell soloist. Chris recently was featured in the Ontario Guild of English Handbell Ringers virtual concert, and we're happy to perform The Angel Gabriel, arranged by Kathy Mokelblust. much, Chris. That was truly amazing. Now, our second selection is a recording of Barry Kavina playing 3 carols, and we have a treat of some lovely poetry to introduce these carols. So here is Sherry Kavina.
Barry claims that he has 2 buttons on his chest. You press one and limericks come out. You press another one and haiku comes out. He's written a lot of haiku, and it's a Japanese form of verse where the first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and the third line is 5 syllables. And these 3 pieces, and I'll read them one after the other because I believe in the recording he plays the arrangements of the carols without a break. So the first haiku for Good King Wenceslas. There are some good kings. Wenceslas modeled his deeds on words of the Christ. The second one is a pastoral arrangement of Joseph Dearest, Joseph Mine, with this haiku reading. Midst sheep and oxen, the newborn babe lay sleeping in Joseph's strong arms. And the third arrangement is a minuet and trio on 2 carols, past 3 o'clock, and whence is that goodly fragrance? Inspired by angels, shepherds ran to Bethlehem, hearts bursting with joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barry and Sherry. I'm so happy to have your presence on the concert tonight and for all of the different ways that you enhance our music program at Dublin. So this fall, we've been happy to come back and reemerge in person little by little. And I'm pleased that we've been able to do a little bit of hand chimes with the young people. And we have a couple of videos of about 3 weeks of handbell or hand chime rehearsals with the kids who prepared some pieces for the Christmas pageant. So enjoy these different renditions of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star from Max LaSalva, Lila Staup, Olivia Olan, and Rose Aitken. And after our handbell choir, we'll be playing live arrangement of Carol of the Bells. Thank you so much to the Handbell Choir for regularly enriching our worship services with your gorgeous music. The other thing that we've been able to do this fall is have our choir reemerge little by little in the sanctuary for our worship services. The first couple of weeks we were in the parking lot, and then it got cold. So then we had duets leading the hymns, and slowly we added to that number. We had some octets come in, and finally we've been able to take advantage of the side balconies to have up to 20 singers. So I'm so pleased to be able to have some choir singing and to welcome our members back into the chancel. You may notice a familiar face in the tenor section. We're so lucky that we have some backup from Reverend Bruce, and we've also been able to welcome Ben Spruill, Dan Austin, and Marion Samuel Stevens to sing with us. So our first choral selection is called El Noi de la Mare by John Rutter. It's a Catalan lullaby on the text, What Can We Bring to the Baby Jesus? We have a wonderful arrangement by Paul Halley of the First Noel, and we're going to be joined by trumpet player Louis Patrick and timpanist Nicholas Staup.
there's a bear. Now this little teddy bear looks like it's gone through a lot. Its fuzzy light brown coat is all worn like threadbare, especially on its belly with threads showing. Now that little bear is in the National Museum of War in Ottawa, in a showcase. And with it are children's report cards and 3 fancy buttons like they had during the First World War. And there's a stack of letters. If we counted them, there'd be more than 200. So, and there are medals, 4 medals, one for bravery. How did that get into that museum? Now, during the celebration for 150th birthday that we had 4 years ago, every national museum was asked, would you select an item, just one item out of your collection, something to showcase Canada, something that would be something unique. And the National War Museum chose that little bear. Now, think of it. There's over 500,000 artifacts in that War Museum. There's the Plains of Abraham and the War of 1812 and the Northwest Rebellion and the 2 wars, and there's Korea, and there's Afghanistan, and there's all those peace efforts that Canada had. But that little teddy bear, that was the one that was chosen. So what's the backstory? Well, let's go back 100 years to the fall of 2015. Go to a farm just outside of East Farnham in Quebec. And it's the family the house that belongs to Janet and Lawrence Rogers. And there's 2 children, Aileen and Roger. And those 2 children, let's think about Aileen. It's Christmas is coming. Aileen is troubled. What is she going to give her father? He won't be there this Christmas. His chair will be empty. That's never happened before. Her father enlisted. He's overseas in France. And what could she give him that would be special? Her mother's finishing off the wool socks. And later on, he'll write a letter and thank her for those wool socks and say, I've already worn them for 7 days and I'll probably wear them for another 19. And her little brother, why, he's such a good drawer for a 6-year-old. He's got a whole picture there. It shows them snowball fighting and the 2 snowmen. And there's Mother in front of the barn with Father's horse. And the barn door's open and there's the cow. And there's the hen house. And the farm with the veranda. And the wreath on the door. But what could Aileen give? She had her little teddy bear in her hand. Oh, it had been given to her some years before. She's 10 years old, but she still loves that teddy. She talks to it. What am I going to give Father? And then she thought of the year ago when she got that teddy bear. Someone had said, that's an awful small bear. And her father lifted it up in the air and said, well, this bear might be small, but it's got a big heart. Is that what made her think of it? But she did think of it. Mother, I'm going to send my teddy bear. Your teddy, my love. And that's what she did. In that parcel that year, there were, of course, the shortbread cookies and the gingerbread. They only put in half the sugar that the recipe called for. That was the way it was back in those days. And there were other things in there. And, of course, the tea. There had to be tea, didn't there? And oh, that teddy bear was tucked in there with those wool socks. And in that letter where her mother talked about the socks, or the father talked about the socks, the father also talked about that bear. Oh, Aileen, thank you for sending me your teddy bear. I will care for it. I will have it with me always, because I'm going to put it in my pocket. And the year passed. Oh, Aileen thought, maybe that teddy bear would be a good luck charm. And a Christmas rolled by. The father wrote about that bear again. Your bear's dirty, Aileen, and the legs are kind of loose, but I carry it with me every day in my pocket. And so it was we moved to October, mid-October, 2017, Passchendaele. Passchendaele, that little bitty town, it's barely a pencil tip in Berlin, in Belgium. It had already been smashed to smithereens. There were no trees or anything anymore. The British had been there, the Australians, the New Zealanders. And then in October, the Canadians were asked, see if you can conquer Passchendaele, this field of filthy mud that we all know about. Well, it was the 30th October, and Aileen's father was on that day. He was a medic. He was carrying the stretcher of the wounded, and the bomb fell. And that terrible knock came on the door, and her father would not be coming home. Now, it was some weeks later, and a parcel arrived. It was her father's belongings. There was his dress uniform, cleaned and neatly folded. There were 2 report cards in there. Howard's was in there. Father had kept it. It said reading, 100%. Conduct, 100%. Punctuation, 100%. Average, 100%. And there was Aileen's report card. Religion, 100%. Reading, 95%. Arithmetic, 83%. Deportment, 100%. Punctuality, 100%. Average, 95.9. Standing in the class second. Father had kept those report cards. He'd had them for her. And all his letters. He sent back, they had this bundle of letters that Father had kept. And there were 3 buttons in there, you know, the fancy buttons from the uniform. And medals. And all those things. And of course, the teddy bear. It looked a little rough for wear. It's the teddy bear that those of you at home have seen on the screen. And anyone who would like it, I've got a photograph for you to put on your fridge to remember that teddy bear. Well, the time passed. Aileen, she grew up. She became a nurse. She had a daughter, Roberta. Now, it was 2002. And Roberta and her daughter, Stephanie, they came to the farmhouse. And they were looking through some boxes. And they came across a box. And they lifted the lid, and there it was, the uniform. And report cards, and a bundle of letters, and a teddy bear. Well, Roberta and her daughter, Stephanie, they both knew. They knew about the grandfather. They knew the story about the great-grandfather. But they were charmed. And they wrote the National Museum of War in Ottawa, and they explained what they had. And they found out that there were many requests of offerings to the museum. But this was special. These were letters, so many that had not survived through the 100 years. And a teddy bear that a soldier had carried in his pocket. They were charmed. And so that little bundle, they arrived at that war museum. And now Stephanie is a reporter. She's a teacher of journalism. And she was fascinated with that story. She contacted a friend in southern Ontario, and the 2 of them wrote a book. Where they wrote this story from the bear's perspective. It's a charming story. You can order it at the bookshelf here downtown Well. And that is how that little bear stays alive. And what was it? Was it the link that it gave that family to what was happening over there? Was it a reminder that families' lives were destroyed? That there was much grief, but also much effort during that war of more than 100 years ago. Now, we invited the children. We were going to gather up here and have a little kind of gathering with bears, because when Irene and I were chatting about this, she started talking about how she loved bears when she was little. She's even brought one. I said, bring a bear. And I know that some of the children have brought some too. But for safety's sake, I'm going to step back, put on my double mask, and maybe we can just walk past here and you can show your bears at home. So Irene, you want to start us off? It's not a picnic. Now, let me give you a photograph of that bear from the museum. There you are. Oh, look at that little one. That might have been the one like Aileen's, eh? Oh, good. Here come some children, too. They brought them. Come on up. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, you've already got the photograph, haven't you? Do you want to go in front of the xylophone here so you can show the family at home? Show them your bears. Show them that picture. All right. Thank you very much. And there's the story of the bear in war. Thank you. All right, let's go find our places again.
Thank you, Syed, so much for that very heartwarming and bittersweet story. And it's really amazing how these objects from our childhood carry so much meaning throughout years. So thank you. Next on our program is we have Marion Samuel Stevens, who will be singing some wonderful solos with us, the Wexford Carol, and The Most Wonderful Time of the Year.
Christmas time, consider well and bear in mind what our good God for us has done in sending his beloved Son. With merry holy we should pray to God with love this Christmas day. In Bethlehem upon that morn there was a blessed Messiah born. Near Bethlehem did shepherds keep the flocks of lambs and feeding sheep, to whom God's angels did appear, which put the shepherds in great fear. Prepare and go, the angel said, to Bethlehem. Be not afraid, for there you'll find this happy morn, a princely babe, sweet Jesus born. strife. It's the most wonderful time of the year, with the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest season of all, with those holiday greetings and gay happy meetings when friends come to call. It's the happiest season of all. There'll be parties for hosting, marshmallows for toasting, and caroling out in the snow. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be glowing when loved ones are near. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Much, Marion. We are so incredibly fortunate to have such a strong community of amazing musicians here at Dublin. The next performance that we have, performer happens to be also close to my heart and close to my family. This is my husband, Nick Staup, who will be performing a xylophone solo of Cross Corners by George Hamilton Green. And then together with Dan Austin and Louis Patrick and Marion, we will be playing a few selections from the Charlie Brown Christmas. Dear friends, our time together has concluded, and It's been such a joy to play music for you and to have the musicians and all of us together in the sanctuary again. Our last set will be choir. We'll be singing 3 pieces, In the Stillness, Sweeter Still, and O Come, All Ye Faithful. And there's a number of choir members who are not able to sing with us today. And in their absence, I just want to tell them that we all miss them and that we all hope that they are feeling better and look forward to the day that we can all sing together again. In the meantime, I hope that you're all singing and watching at home. And I hope that you have enjoyed the concert. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you.